Good morning and welcome to your fantastic Tuesday. All I can say is this is BlindGuy Budgeter, and this video I know is supposed to be talking about Tiny Tuesdays, but since I have a delay on my system, I'm gonna just be doing a breaking down on my budgets, binders, and my events of what I'm going to be doing. And right now, since I wrote down on a pen and paper of what I'm going to be doing, so all I can say is I have some categories, and if you guys want to have the same ones, if you guys want different ones, I have some lists, and I broke it down to 3 main categories and another one. So I might not have enough binders, but like I said, I'm going to be ordering some more new ones, so let's get started. Anyway, hello everybody, how you doing? My fingers are hurting. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be, like I said, my breaking down of my categories and my budgeting. And let's get started. Okay, what I'm going to be starting with, since I said I wrote it down, since people say they have bills, and I know they have bills, different kind of bills, I marked down as annual bills, car insurance. I know I don't drive, but I help people that drive me around to pay for their car insurance. Internet and Wi-Fi. I don't know if I might have that anymore, because that one, I don't really know if I can afford that anymore. Quarterly bills, that means every 3 months. If you don't know, quarterly is every 3 months. So just to explain that more, and if you guys want to know my denominations, I'll explain that later, but some of them, they're like different, so whatever I know what I can do, I'll explain it better. Anyway, we have subscription that I have. Hold on, I have another paper. And get rid of that. Okay, sorry about that. Subscription, I do have that. I have my SiriusXM subscription, my other subscriptions that people always say that they always want to pay for, and then also I have my, like I said, my SiriusXM right here. I don't know how much that costs a month. That always changes. Then I have my T-Mobile internet that I want to do, but I don't know if I want to afford it or not, but I'm still thinking about that. And then my utilities, I usually do that on my debit card. That's why it's kind of blank. I don't even know. It's always going differently. So that's my bills. How do you call it? Now I'm losing my thoughts. This is called my bills category. Annual is yearly, if you want to know. Yearly and quarterly is 3 months, just to make sure. So all I can say is I just wrote this down on a piece of paper to see how people might think, or how people's bills are different. And I know they're different, but I know that this is going to be my most binder that I have to do. But with the utilities, I just wrote it down, but I usually do it with my debit card, but the pricing, I don't really know how much it's going to be. So yeah, this is my first binder that I'm going to do, but right now I have to make the envelopes, but I'm not going to know if I'm going to have all the categories. Maybe I'm just going to have some. But like I said, with my internet Wi-Fi, I can't afford that no more. So I usually do my Wi-Fi through my phone, so we'll explain that some other time. But other than that, this is my breaking down budgeting. So this is my bills category, so let's go move that off to the side. My next category is my high priority, how some people say. The high priority means that bills, or not bills, things need to be done right away, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever it is. But Like I said, I don't own a vehicle, but car maintenance, I can help somebody if they need car maintenance, like change a tire, oil change, whatever. I always budgeted my car maintenance to $20 every time I save. Then Christmas is a category that's high priority because I budget that for $50 each payment or each check I get. Then miscellaneous, I bet some people don't know about that. Miscellaneous is unbudgeting, meaning that something comes up that you don't budget for, something that says that, oh, you have to pay this, and if you don't have enough, let's say on your car maintenance, if you have just $10, that's when miscellaneous comes in. And miscellaneous I budget for is $20 each paycheck that I get. And then emergency, and I know some people might panic and say, what does emergency mean? What emergency does? Emergency means any kind of emergency, like if I get sick, if members of my family get sick, or if my partner gets sick. That's what the emergency means. So in case we don't have enough funds, if we have to go to the emergency room, go to the hospital, my emergency funds I do is $100, and my goal is to get either to 1,000, 2,000, or 3,000 for emergency. So that's my goal. But my money that is going to be going in there is $100. I know some people might say, oh, that's too much, oh, that's going to be too much for me, but that's what I'm thinking. That's only for me. But for your emergency funds, if you want to go, let's say $20, $50, $40, that's up to you. But for me, my particular goal is $100 because I want to make sure that I reach that goal. And then medical is the same. If we will need to go to the hospital, or if we need to get some more medicine that's over the counter, medical is, I'm going to be saving is $40 a paycheck. That's what I'm going to do. Then Amazon, and then some people say, oh, how come you don't have any prices for your Amazon? I usually buy Amazon gift cards, or if I don't want to use my debit card, my credit card, nothing like that, I always buy Amazon gift cards. It's either between $20, $25, $50, or $100, but we'll talk about Amazon soon. But if you do have an Amazon account, comment down below and I'll send you guys gift cards so you don't have to like spend your own money, since you don't have to spend your debit card or your own cash and say, oh, I regret of spending on Amazon, because people say there's a lot of things that they like on Amazon. So that's why Amazon don't have a price range. So other than that, like I said, for Amazon, I usually buy Amazon gift cards, so you don't have to worry about that. So I'm supposed to have more down the list, but I don't really know what my original list is. But I'm just letting you guys know what I'm making my list of what my high priorities are. And I bet you guys are all different. You guys might say, oh, I don't drive, I don't do this, but I know there's a lot happening with some people. But like I said, with car maintenance, I know I don't have a vehicle, but I help people that do have like a vehicle. So all I can say is that's going to be my highest priority category, and I do have a binder for this, but I have to start making envelopes for it. So this is my list and this is my pricing. But like I said, some people pricing might be totally different. So let's move on to our next category. Okay, my next category, I don't know if I really need this, but this is going to be my medium priority. And people say, oh, how come you only have 3? Because medium is not that really important. And some people might say, why do you have beauty on yours? Ain't that for women only? No. Beauty is for men and women. Meaning that beauty means we have to get shampoo, we have to get conditioner. Yeah, that's for men and women. We have to get hand soaps, we have to get like perfume, cologne, deodorant, so we don't smell like how people say. So that's what beauty is. But some people say, why beauty? How come you're copying what women do? And I was like, well, when I discovered the word beauty, it's like, yeah, beautiful for women, or beauty is like for hair conditioner, shampoo, and lotion and all that stuff. That's what my beauty comes in for. So that one I'm going to be saving $30. So that's going to be a really good thing. And then with health is going to be like not that important as medical. And they're like, yeah, how come health and medical are the same? And it's like, well, they might be the same, but health is a little bit different. Health is like, you have to make sure that you have to save to go get more medications, and I know that's tied with medical, but you need to know what people might know and people might not know about medical and health. But they say, oh, they're the same. Yes, they might be the same, but health is, you have to stay healthy, like get healthy snacks, healthy food. So that I budgeted for $25 if I need it. And then for my uncle working at our house, there's another category that's called seasonal lawn care. And that's a big responsibility for people that know how to do planting and mowing the lawn or doing something. But I want to help my uncle with a little something. So with seasonal lawn care, I'm planning to save $25 per each lawn work that he does, or if people know what they do or what they have license for. That's going to be great for the medium priority, because why some people say, why have a medium thing if you only have 3 items? Like some people say, some categories may come up and we might need to add it. So I just started out with 3 for now for my medium priority. So that's going to be my medium priority. So let's move on to our next one, shall we? Then for our next one is our low priority. Low priority means that it's not really that important. We don't really care about it. Or some people say, oh, I don't really care about the low priority, but me, I do care. But I'm not saving much as the high or medium priority. But like with family fun, I know there's a lot of people say, oh, I can't budget for family fun. Yes, you can. You can budget as low as $10, $20, but I'm budgeting $20 for my family fun for each paycheck that I get. And then gifting, I'm going to make an envelope for this. So gifting is like birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, or whatever events of what gifting is. But gifting is more different than Christmas. So Christmas, there are people like, yeah, we have gifts, we have do all this, but my version of gifting is to give back to others, to give back a gift. So for gifting, I'm managing to save $30 because that's how I feel that I want to save. But if you guys want to save 30, you may. If you want to save 10 or 5 the first time, you may do so. But for me, I feel like gifting that I'm going to be saving $30. Date night is more important to other people. If you have girlfriends, boyfriends, etc., whatever, I don't care. People always say, can we have a date night? No matter if it's the Friday night, the weekends, during the week. Me, I do go out with my date night with my spouse. And me and him, we always do whatever. But if we both don't want a date night, we always do it at home. So I mostly budget date night for only $20 each time I save. And then if we reach amount, then we can go out to a restaurant, or we can order in, or we can do whatever. So I budget $20 each time I want to have a date night. Support family, that's more important. If you have your spouse, your kids, your parents, your grandparents, whatever, your aunts, uncles, or your siblings, support a family. I don't really have a budget right here, but my budget always changes. It's always like $50, $100, $200, but like I said, I don't have a set amount. So support a family, I just leave it blank, so I don't know what it is. Support, I was gonna say support a friend, but support friends is another category that I always do, and I also leave that blank because I don't know how much I'm gonna save. I don't know how much they want. So support a friend is blank because it's always different. Back to school, I don't have that amount either. I'm still trying to figure out what that amount is, but back to school is people's kids, or if you have kids, you want to save back to school. I know school supplies are expensive, school clothes are expensive, backpacks, baseball caps for boys, lipstick, makeup for girls, yay, to make themselves pretty for school. So yeah, back to school, I don't have a price range for that too, because the price is always going up and down, so I have to guess of what school supplies is, but it's on my low priority, so I don't really have to say much, because I try to look at Walmart, I look at Dollar Tree, I look at Dollar General, Dollar Store. I know some places are really non-expensive, like they're 50 cents or 25 cents a pencil, 50 cents a binder, 25 cents a book. It all depends, but it all goes up and down because they always try to have their sales. So this is my low priority, and I know I have about 6 categories right now, but pretty soon I might have more on the list pretty soon. But like I said, it's good to start out with just a little bit, not too much, because you don't want to like overdo yourself or overdo anything. So all I can say is people need a list of their high, medium, and low priorities. The reason why I arrange it like this, because I know what people think and what people do and say, oh, how come you have so many categories and you can't really stuff much? But I tell them I start off slow. I start off like I said, I don't have that much list of what I'm going to be doing, but pretty soon our categories are going to add up, more will join. So yeah, let's go to our next category, shall we? Alright, now it's like my family binder, but you're like, oh, there's only 2 names, but I know it's only just me and my spouse for now, but like I said, it's just going to be me and him for now. But if I add more, then the list will go on, and I'll show you my family binder, I'll show you all that stuff I want to do, but it's either a good idea or a good way to have a family binder, no matter if it's for you and your spouse only, or you, your spouse, and whoever you want to put on the list. That's your decision. So all I can say is I'll show you something else with my family binder later. And all I can say is this is the category that most people say, I don't have a family. If you're single, fine. If you want to adopt somebody, or say somebody's your adopted family member, you may do so. Because me, it's just me and my spouse for now. So all I can say is me and him, we budget. This is called our necessities, mean our needs. We both get $30 per spending. So that's what we need. And that's what we always budget, and that's what we always need, and that's what we always go on. So that's going to be the family binder, but I'll show you the family binder soon. But right now, I always say that it's always a good idea to have your plans. Just write it down. If you make a mistake, cross it out. If you want to add more, add more. So that's what we're doing right here. That's the next category. Oh yeah, and then to announce the winners, all I can say is if you're the winner, congratulations. Your name will appear right here. So all I can say is congratulations to the winners. And all I can say is if you're not the winner, don't feel bad. You'll still receive a savings challenge. And all I can say is congratulations to the winners that are displayed. And all I can say is don't feel bad. And if you want to win the next challenge, remember the rules. Subscribe, like, and comment. And all I can say is you'll be the next winner when I do the next giveaway. So let's continue to move on. These are my newest ones that I created, and some people might say, oh, this might be the same thing, but no, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be making a revolving binder, and what revolving means is it's going to be coming out, going back in, coming out, going back in. But groceries, I'm budgeted about $200, but I'm not going to use my cash. I'm not going to use my debit card. No, I got my food stamp card that I can budget for the groceries that I need. So my budget is $200, and some people might say, ain't that too much for just one person? No, I'm not buying for myself. I'm buying for me and my spouse and my family and whoever needs to eat. So that's going to be my revolving. And then next up is dining out. And some people might say, hey, isn't it too expensive to dine out? No. All I can say is I always budget $50 when I budget out. The reason why I budget $50 is it because just me and my spouse, or myself, my uncle, my grandmother, we always go to our favorite restaurant and it's below $50. It's like 39 something, or if we want to have something that's more advanced, I boost up the 50 to the $100 that I dine out with. But lately I just been spending less than $50, so that's good enough for us. And then this one's called My Pets, but I don't have any pets, but my grandma has my pets. And they say dog food are expensive, dog food or cat food, but for her budget, I always budget $20, and she tried to find the cheapest one or something that's in that budget range for my grandmother. And then for everybody else, extra toiletries, meaning that you have toilet paper or towels or whatever that is, paper towels or whatever that you need around the house. That's what extra toiletries are. And then we budget $20 because I know we know that toilet paper and paper towels and everything for the toiletries is not that expensive. And then let's see, another one is, like you said, you always say, how come you have miscellaneous so many times? Miscellaneous means unbudgeting, like I keep on telling you guys, unbudgeting. So let's say if you don't have enough for your toiletries, dining out, your pets, or your groceries, that's what you tap into, is your miscellaneous. So don't forget about that, your miscellaneous. And then there's another one that's called back to the bank. I don't have anything because that's going to be like a bank deposit of how much of these that I don't use. So meaning that if I don't use it, I'm going to just take it back to the bank and deposit it. And then I'm going to make a envelope that's called rollover, meaning that if I have, let's say, if I don't spend the whole $50, $20, let's say if I have $3 to $7 to whatever dollars I have, I'm going to put it into my rollover envelope. That's why you don't see no numbers here. So all I can say is that's why it's called rollover. If you have dollar bills, $5 bills, $10 bills, you just put it in this envelope and then you just roll it over and you'll see, hey, do I have anything in my rollover? Then you'll look in that envelope and say, oh look, I do. So that's going to be my revolving binder that I'm going to be doing. And then there's going to be a new binders that I'm going to be using that are going to be called my short term binder. And then this one is going to be my self-care. And what people say, oh, what are you going to do with self-care? Like, are you a woman? Are you all that? And I was like, no, men can have self-care too. Self-care is to make sure that you take care of yourself health-wise, grooming-wise. Self-care is like kind of like having haircuts, having some more facial creams, and like whatever you need for your self-care. So that one I'm going to be budgeting $20. And then home cleaning supplies or products, home cleaning products. That's like another version of cleaning supplies and whatever you need for the house. Like, if you need some more dish soap, if you need some more laundry soap, if you need all that, I'm going to be budgeting $10 a paycheck, and I know that each item costs less than $10. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. If you're shopping at the right place, and then you're all saying, how come you have gifts since you have gifting on um, your other category? Gifting and gifts are totally different if you want to understand. Gifting is for me to be gifting to others. Gifts is like people send me gifts, or some people send other people gifts of saying if it's their birthday, anniversary, or some kind of event. That's what gifts mean. And then for my budget, I'll be budgeting $20 for gifts. And then for clothing, I know some people might need clothing because we can't run around without clothes. That'll be embarrassing. So all I can say is with clothing, people might say, oh, I need new clothes, or I need some more clothes. So clothing, I'm going to be budgeting is $20 because I know no shirt or pants can't cost more than $20 if you're getting it together. There's no such way. And then this is going to be my favorite, and some other people's favorite. It's going to be called Get Gaming. And people might say, what does that mean? What does Get Gaming mean? If you have a Nintendo account like me, a PlayStation account, or a game on your phone that you want to get, there's game cards at Walmart, game cards at GameStop. That's what the envelope's called Get Gaming means. So my budget is going to be $20. Well, actually $25. Sorry, I was reading it wrong. $25 to Get Gaming. And the reason why I made it that much is because of how people see things, how people say that, oh, I don't have much to afford for Get Gaming, and then some people might say, how come you have beauty on your other one again? Beauty is not only for me, it's for my grandmother, it's for my uncles, for my family. So that one I'll be doing is $25 too for beauty. So all I can say is, I know some people may say that their blush, their makeup, and all stuff are so expensive, and I can believe that they are. So that's going to be my short terms. Like, this one's going to be like my revolving binder. It's going to be putting money in, taking money out, putting money in again, taking money out. It's going to be like back and forth. So, alright, that's going to be the short term. Then my next one is my how do you call it? My long-term savings. And then what people may say, my long terms, what is a long term? My long term is I'm going to be saving for a while, but for vacation, if I want a vacation, I have to save like only for a year and a half. I want to figure out where I want to go, what hotels I'm going to stay at, what things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a vacation binder as well. And that one, I'm going to be saving $100 per paycheck. And then people say, oh, I want to go on a road trip, a really small road trip. And some people can. Some people can go on a road trip and they always say, oh, I don't have anything to do. I'm so bored that I just want to go do something. So road trip is what I'm going to be doing for my long terms too. So that one, I'm going to be budgeting $30 a paycheck of how much I'm going to be saving for. And then for school supplies, I know some people say, oh, you have to save 1 year until next school year to get school supplies. That is true. So school supplies, I'm going to be saving about $20 a paycheck. My goal is to hit $500 to $1,000. So when school comes around, I will have money to pay for everything. School supplies, backpacks, notebooks, papers, crayons, paints, all that is going to be all taken care of. And then electronics. It doesn't matter what electronics you do or have. It's going to be for a phone charger, If you want to get batteries, that's also electronics. If you want to get a new TV, that's also electronics. So my goal for electronics, I'm going to be saving $50 for each paycheck. So that's going to be my really great long term of my electronics. So meaning that if I want to save for, let's say, a new laptop, a new desktop, or new speakers or something like that, if I say, oh, I can't get it right now, then I have to wait until, let's say, Black Friday, then yeah, that's going to be the way to go. So that's going to be my long-term binder. But I did have some more lists, but I know that they're all misplaced. But this one's kind of blank, and this one's called reserving, but I'm going to leave this blank because I don't know what I'm going to reserve for. Reserving is for, well, if you want me to explain it to you, reserving is called being patient, having to wait until you have enough. So if it's like, for an example, if I want a new phone, new laptop, new all that, like everything that says new, I'm going to list that all down right here, but I don't really need anything new right now. But right now I just pick this category for reserve in case I need something to reserve. Like if I want a new TV, if I want a new game console, if I want something that's going to be reserved or something. But this one is blank, so all I can say is this is going to be the last category for now, but I don't know where my other lists are. But all I can say is if you stood to the end of what I've been doing and what has been said, so all I can say is thank you so much. And if you want the same list as me, or if you know that you have something different, just write it down or just let me know. And all I can say is we'll work together, and I'll get your envelopes ready to go. And all I can say is thank you so much for spending time with me of going over my breakdowns and my binders and my category lists that I'm going to be doing. So bye, you guys.